all those who logged into social media handles and also who are watching us right now on TV screens. Do send us your queries on WhatsApp or on any of the social media handles. But let's get going with the first query, and this one is from Soumitra. He wants to know about Burger King on the fundamental level, if it's worth and can be added at current levels. In my vicinity, have seen a considerable migration of people from McDonald's to Burger King. What's the case? Because have you seen similar trends in your vicinity that people are going more towards Burger King instead of McDonald's? And also, how does Burger King look on the fundamentals?
Yes, I will. First, I would like to give you my opinion about going to Burger King, since I'm strictly a vegetarian and a Jain. So normally I do not visit Burger King or McDonald's because there are very few choices for us. But I've been seeing people flocking to Burger King. So the restaurant chain seems to be doing exceedingly well. So I like the stock, and I think one could hold on to the stock or could use any dip in the stock to be used as a buying opportunity for medium to long term.
That's that's clearly something that you're better off, I think, in terms of the food that you choose to eat. You're certainly healthier than most of us, I would say. But we've got another question coming in from Mehul Vaidya. PNG Health is the counter that he's asking about. This is the erstwhile Merck. Coming to you on this one, Vikas, because he's bought at prices of 5,779, and since that point the prices have come off a little bit. He's asking what the long-term view should be and what are the chances that it gets merged into PNG Health, Hygiene and Health.
Yeah, Alex, as far as the stock is concerned, I like the stock. It's a good quality MNC with pretty strong brands and distribution network. And I think the investor, despite being in losses, should continue to hold on to the stock. And if he gives the stock, say, about 9 to 12 months, I think he could see back his prices and also make some profits out of it. So I will hold on the stock.
And take the next question then. We've got Michael Barbosa who's asking a question, and this is on a counter called, WellSpan Industries is the counter. Let's go ahead and get this answered. He's got 1,500 shares of WellSpan Industries at a price of 141. I'm coming to you on this one, Vikas. Should you hold on to this or should you book losses?
WellSpan Industries again is the WellSpan group company, which is, I think, more into infrastructure. Is he talking about WellSpan India or WellSpan Industries?
Industries, Vikas.
India. So anyways, WellSpan Industries again is a good quality company, and I think he can continue to hold on to the stock.
Right. Our next query is coming in from Purna Chandramani. She's saying she's bought Rathi Industries before the stock split at the rate of 1850. After the split, the stock is trading around only 900 levels. So there is no movement in the share price that she can see. So she wants to know, can she continue to hold on to Rathi Industries or shift over to some other sector altogether? What's your take on Rathi Industries, Kunal?
I think you should hold. You should not, fret about it that the stock is going through a consolidation. It had a fabulous, start to 2021 from being a stock which was just around that 550 or 600 mark to being a stock which is now at 960 level. So I believe post that the stock has gone through a consolidation, and in this consolidation it's coming back towards touching its 50-day moving average. So the volumes have not ebbed off. So you look at the chunk of volumes. For example, I think start of September, just about the first or the second trading day of September month as well, the stock had seen a big jump in volume. So it's not as if that the stock is going through a listless consolidation. Volumes are still happening, and the trading activity is quite buoyant for these stocks, and this is required for a stock to try and come back from a consolidation phase. So I believe you should definitely look to hold on to your investments over here.
Okay, we've got Ramesh, who's got Jubilant Pharmova at a price of 715 rupees per share. He's asking what the outlook is for the next year or two. Coming to you on this one, Vikas, what do you say about this counter?
No, it's again a good quality pharma company, although the stock is down from the acquired price of the investor and he's sitting on some losses. But I think he should continue to hold on to the stock. It's a good quality company, fundamentals are strong. And I think if you give it 6 to 9 months time from here, I think suddenly he would make substantial gains out of it.
This one is from Ajay saying that can Rallis India be bought at a current market price with a 6 to 12 month view? What's your take, Kunal, coming in on Rallis India?
Well, I think the chart patterns for Rallis India is very intriguing because the stock, whenever it tends to give you a breakout on the weekly and the monthly charts, there is typically a follow through for 1 or 2 months, and then you see the stock coming back towards testing that support trend line or the breakout trend line, which actually becomes like a support for the stock. So I think in that sense, Rallis India seems to be a stock which is going through that process of retesting a trend line. So when you try and look at buying the dips, I think these are classical opportunities where you can look to buy the dips. So I would suggest that it's a good strategy to try and chip into the stock at current levels. Also, just to add one fact is that the stock is trading almost exactly at its 200-day moving average. So that also adds a lot of comfort that the mean reversion process seems to have completed for Rallis India.
All right, I'm coming back to you, Kunal, in the next one. Alma D'Souza is asking about IDBI Bank. She's got a buy price of 38 rupees per share, and she's wondering what the future target is and whether she should hold at this point or sell.
Well, I would suggest that don't look at a long-term investment on such kind of names. These are stocks which tend to move up into very sporadic kind of price actions whenever there is some expected amount of news flow, etc. So I think if you're looking out for something on the PSU banking side, then I would suggest just two names from the back, SBI and Bank of Baroda. I think you can look at allocating or shifting your money from IDBI Bank to these names. They are much better quality and they've stood the test of time, not just in the last 12, 13 months, but over the last so many years as well.
This one is from Sukanya and she's a senior citizen. She's asking about Tata Chemicals or NAM India. Which of this is better? These are better stock to invest for the longer term. Kunal, two divergent sectors altogether, Tata Chemicals and NAM India. Which one Ms. Sukanya should look at investing in?
See, I think yes, as you rightly mentioned, both of them are divergent in terms of sectors, but in terms of consistency of price trend, I believe both these stocks have different approach. So, Tata Chemical, for example, is a relatively moderate beta kind of a stock. It's not a high beta stock like what it was, 4-5 years back when the volatility was very, very high for Tata Chemicals. It used to move into very wild kind of price swings. And I think at current levels of 800, 830 odd as well, Tata Chemicals look attractive to me on the longest term time scale. Corrections like what you saw, I think 2 or 3 months back, just about a quarter and a half or back, was one of the classical opportunities to try and chip into the stock. So it becomes a good buy and dips candidate. The only catch with the other stock, NAM India, is the high beta nature. So what was erstwhile the nature for Tata Chemicals is now actually the behavior for many of these AMC stocks as well. NAM India looks attractive. The stock has confirmed a breakout on the weekly as well as on the monthly time frame charts. But the only catch with this name is the high beta nature. So if you're comfortable with high beta stocks, then I think you can look at NAM India. But if you're okay with looking at investing into a moderate beta stocks, then I think I would suggest Tata Chemicals.
All right. The next question, and I know it's a relatively shorter term question, but I'm going to still take it to you, Vikas. This is on Maruti Suzuki. We've got Thomas Titus, who's written in from Bhopal, and he's got 210 shares of Maruti Suzuki at a price of 7,600. He's asking if 8,000 can be achieved, and it's a far cry from its all-time highs, right, Maruti Suzuki. But the question really is not just on Maruti Suzuki, Vikas, but quite a few of these automotive names, now that they're at in a phase of consolidation, or there is worry about supply and all of these other issues, would you buy aggressively at these levels for the next 4 to 5 years?
Alex, first thing, Maruti, the investor is losing around 10-12%. It has come down from his buying price of 7,600 to current levels of 6,800. But at the current levels, the stock should be held on to. Although I feel there will be a lot of competition for Maruti in the coming years because of the wave of electric vehicles which is coming into the country, and for which the government is also pretty serious. But still, I feel Maruti enjoys a dominant market share still in the passenger vehicle segment. It's a great company, has rewarded its shareholders over the longer period of time. So I think at the current levels, one could buy into Maruti. And the short-term problem with almost all the auto companies relate to the shortage of the semiconductor chips, which is there. But I think this problem will get solved sooner or later. So I'm bullish on the auto stocks from these levels, and Maruti would also be one of my preferred picks from the space.
Okay, this one is from Chaitanya, and he wants to know, is it the right time to buy SBI Life? And also he's asking whether it should be SBI Life or ICICI Lombard. Which one of these is good for the longer term? Because SBI Life or ICICI Lombard, which one do you think that Chaitanya should look for the longer term?
I like both the stocks, and today SBI Life is in the news because one of the Canadian funds is selling its stake through a block deal, and because of that, the stock is down by around 3 to 4%. But I think it's presenting a very good opportunity for medium to long-term investors to be buying into the stock. So if I were to pick just one of the one between the two stocks, I think SBI Life would be my preferred bet because of the correction which it has witnessed over the past few sessions.
All right. There's also HDFC Life to consider, right? Because, but if I throw that into the mix, which would you pick?
Between SBI Life and HDFC Life, I would certainly go with HDFC Life because of the kind of management which HDFC has, and the kind of reward which HDFC and its group companies has given to its long-term shareholders. So I think between the two, HDFC Life would be a better bet.
Who's asking what the best counter is in the metals pack and in the banking pack for the next 3 to 6 months. I think this is a positional play. So I'm going to come to you, Kunal, on this one. Out of the two, which would you pick in terms of the sector that you think is going to outperform? I know that you made certain statements in the recent past about the Nifty Bank and where you think it's going.
So, Alex, whenever I think for many of the viewers who are looking at such kind of positional trades, whenever you're looking to buy one of the better stocks from the sector, I'm not saying the best stocks, but one of the better stocks, you should always go with two important facts. One is that how the stock has in terms of the leadership quality for the entire sector, whether the stock gets the first move up whenever the sector tries to turn around. And I think if that's the case, then Tata Steel, for example, from the metals pack look very, very attractive. I think even at current levels, the stock is looking quite strong. It's gone through a time-wise correction, not a price-wise correction. So that's a very surprising move for many of these metal names, specifically Tata Steel as compared to many of its other peers on the mid-cap side. So that's one of the stocks which I would recommend from a 3 to 6 months period. And from the banking name, I believe you have to probably look at two different kind of banking stocks. One which have already done very well, the likes of ICICI Bank and SBI. Both these stocks have done phenomenally well. So I think they could continue to move up higher if the bank Nifty continues to surge up. But then the other candidate are the likes of HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank. So you can pick up either of them because both these stocks are emerging as strong breakout candidates on the weekly and the monthly chart. So I think you have to probably try and pick up two names from banking names, maybe an SBI or ICICI Bank as one of the options, or Kotak Bank and HDFC Bank as the other option. And Tata Steel is what I would recommend from the metals pack.
Okay, this one is coming from Shiva. He's saying he is holding 500 shares of Moil, which he's purchased at 230 rupees per share. He bought it a few years back. So he's saying, in view of a good outlook for the metal sector, should I average it at these levels, and can I hold the stock for one more year? Kunal, what's your take on Moil? What should Shiva do? Does it make sense to average at these levels?
Well, I would suggest an exit at current levels, frankly, for Moil. Even though the stock has rallied as compared to many of these other metal stocks or commodity linked stocks as such, but the price trends are not, as strong and as durable like many of these other quality names. So I would suggest a switch from Moil to either a Tata Steel, or if you're looking at such mid cap names, which low price stocks, then you can look at either a SAIL or a Nalco at current levels.
Okay, we've got Mr. P. Singh from Pune. I believe he's asked this question again, but I'm going to take it anyway since it's an interesting one. I believe, Vikas, over a period of time, he's accumulated a significant holding of Infosys. And if I am correct, it is as many as 16,500 shares. He says that he wants to reduce his risk. Can he shift 50% of the holding to another large cap IT stock or to another company altogether?
Yeah, Alex, since he's holding a big quantity of Infosys, and if it's the only stock in his portfolio from the IT space, I think he should diversify, because I'm pretty bullish on Infosys. It's a great company. It's rewarded its shareholders over a longer period of time tremendously. But still, you never know, there could be some problems, like we'd seen earlier also. There were some management changes, and because of that, the stock was hammered. So it's always advisable to remain diversified. So if he were to remain in the IT space, I think he could part with half of his holdings and buy into TCS also at the current levels and keep half of it in TCS.
This one is from Jayant. He's saying he has 200 shares of Intellect Designs, which he's purchased at 670 rupees per share levels. He's saying the price is sliding since I bought it. Please suggest what should I do? Should I hold it or look to exit this counter? Kunal, what should Jayant do? Intellect Designs, he's purchased at 670 rupees per share.
I think from the April and May highs, from 825 approximately, the stock is going through a correction. So yes, it's going through a patch of correction, but looking at the way the stock has given the returns in the last 14-15 months, I think a fall of 200 points or 20% odd from the highs may not be something to really fret about. I believe you should definitely hold on to your investments, and I think you should use this correction as a good averaging opportunity. The 200-day moving average is closer to 570, 575. So if the stock happens to come closer to that level, I think it's where you should look to average.
All right, let's look at Lux next. Kunal, this one's for you. Lux Industries currently trading around 3,960 mark. We've got Joy from Kerala who's asking whether this is a good entry price for the stock.
Well, Lux was apparently one of the stocks which I had recommended, Alex, in the month of, May end, when the stock was at 2,200 or 2,150 approximately, and it's jumped up extremely well. Now the stock is coming back towards testing its 50-day moving average. So price trends are quite strong, but the indicators have gone into a bit of a sleepy or a shallow mode. And whenever that happens, the stock goes into a consolidation. So, the trend is quite strong, but the price may not be, apt for the stock at current levels. I would suggest that you should look to, wait for a decent amount of correction, at least a 10 to 15% correction from its, major swing highs. So it should be a good starting point. So 3,600 could probably be a starting point for Lux Industries, and then you can look to average on the way lower.
This one is coming in from Nino, and Nino is asking about the textile sector. Nino, just to let you know that before we started the query segment, we spoke at length on textile sector and what the PLI scheme will have an impact on the entire space. But for your benefit, I'll take this question to Vikas. Because she's invested in CRM Silks and Ganesha Ecosphere, so she wants to know how will the textile scheme impact both of these counters. Does it make sense to stay invested in both of them?
Yeah, Cheryl, at the start of this program, we discussed about the textile sector, and CRM Silk Mills was one of the stock which I picked, which is one of my preferred bets. As far as Ganesh Ecosphere is concerned, I do not track this company, but I think there are other textile companies also which look good, like Ambika Cotton, which I recommended, Dollar Industries, which is a peer of Lux Industries, which we were discussing just now, then Gokuldas Exports, WellSpan India, and even KPR Mills, which was recommended by Kunal, looks good. So I think one of these stocks can be bought into. Ganesha ecosphere, I'm not aware of.
Okay, we've got a question coming in from Sonu, who's written in from Mumbai, and he's looking for the long-term outlook, Vikas, on Share India Securities, and he's wondering whether to get in at the current price, or alternatively, he's asking if there's a better pick that you can suggest that has a similar business.
Alex, again, Share India Securities is not a stock which I recommend very closely. But I think if one were to look into a brokerage space, then I think ICICI Securities or Angel Broking would fit the bill. And I think he should choose from among these two stocks.
This one is from Azma Khan, wants to know Endurance Technology, can this counter be bought at current levels for the longer term, or should she wait for some sort of a correction? What's your take, Kunal? What should Azma do for Endurance Tech? Wait for correction or buy at current levels?
Well, the stock is already going through a corrective phase from 1800 levels to sub 1600. So a 10 to 12% correction has already happened for Endurance. Maybe you can wait for one more leg of correction, because the stock is just about testing its major support at 1575 mark. So if the stock breaks the support, then it could probably fall by another 75 to 100 odd rupees. So I think if you're looking at a classic entry point, then closer to 1500 should be a good entry point for Endurance.
Okay, Padma says, good morning to you, Padma. Kunal, this one's for you. She's holding on to Bank of Baroda right now and Canara Bank, and she's wondering whether to sell those two and get into the likes of City Union Bank or RBL for a period of 6 to 12 months.
Oh, I think you should stay put with your investments. I would not recommend a switch to RBL or Bank or City Union Bank. Both these stocks have been big underperformers. In fact, both these stocks are reeling significantly below their 200 moving averages as well, if I'm not wrong. I think Bank of Baroda and Canara Bank stand to be relative better performers as compared to the other peers. I would suggest a hold to both of these existing names which you already have.
This one is coming from Sagar. He wants a fundamental view on Hatson Agro. He's saying he's bought a small chunk at around 750 levels. Valuations are expensive, but do you see growth coming in on a quarter-on-quarter as well as year-on-year basis? He's saying that he feels this company has good potential in the medium to long term. What's your take, Vikas? Do you agree with Sagar? Do you think Hatson Agro will have a good growth in the medium to long term? Stay put with it?
Yes, Sharil, I would maintain a hold in the stock. I think most of the stocks from the sector are doing well, and Hatson Agro has also performed well, and fundamentals look good, and I think he would continue to hold on with his investments and give it another 9 to 12 months, where I'm sure he would get substantial upside even from the current levels.
All right. CDSL is the counter we're looking at next. Ramana has asked whether she can buy the counter right now. Kunal, how does it look on the charts?
Well, it looks attractive, but I believe, if I'm not wrong, today the stock is on upper circuit, so I'm not sure whether you can look to buy or whether you get your quantity at current prices. But yes, it looks attractive. CDSL, BSE, both these stocks, they have been like cult stocks of this in last 15-16 months of the market rally, and these stocks have gone to a different zone altogether in this time frame. So both these stocks look attractive, and corrections like what we've already seen for CDSL over the last 1.5 odd month and BSE as well should be taken as good opportunities to buy. So if you're unable to buy CDSL, then I believe BSE could be a good alternative for you.
All right, with that we kickstart our rapid fire segment. Kunal and Vikas, both of you all know short answers: buy, sell, hold, avoid, or give a very short rationale as well. So let's begin with the first one. This one is from Aditya Kulkarni. Wants view on Subex Limited. Is it a buy for the long run? What's your take, Vikas?
There are strong rumors in the market this company could do well. They are in a kind of product which could see tremendous demand going ahead. I would maintain a hold and buy on declines.
Okay, another one for you, Vikas. Tejas from Chandigarh, holding 5,000 shares of PNB at price of 42.3. Should you buy on dips or should you book loss?
I think switch to Canara Bank or State Bank of India from the same space.
This one is for you, Kunal. What's your take on Global Spirit? We have Mahalakshmi who's already purchased at 575 levels. Wants to know, continue to hold on or sell partially and accumulate more. What's your take?
I think you should definitely look to hold on to it, and if possible, you can look to add even United Spirits from the same space at current price.
Rijo Varghese from Bangalore is holding on to 100 shares of IRCTC. I think he's making a decent amount of money. He hasn't told us a buy price, but Vikas, should he hold on?
IRCTC would certainly be a hold. The stock has done tremendously well, but I think there's much more upside left.
Okay, this one is from Ravi Joshi. Wants a short-term target for Prestige Estates. Already bought the counter at 443 rupees. Kunal?
So I think from a short term view, I would suggest have a time frame of at least 1 month, if not more, but keep a target range in that case close to 475 on Prestige.
Okay, Bhaskar Rao is asking about ITC. Vikas, is it still a good buy for the long term?
It's a buy for patient investors. It's going to take time, but I'm sure it will perform.
Okay, this one for Marion Portman wants to know about Bandhan Bank. Already purchased at 300 rupees per share. Has a time frame of 5 years. But should she continue to hold, sell, or accumulate more? What's your take, Vikas?
Bandhan Bank would be a sell, and I would like the investor to switch to the likes of ICICI Bank or a Kotak Bank.
Alright, on that note, gentlemen, it's a wrap on the query segment. Congratulations, you've answered, I think, more than quite a few other experts have. Kunal, of course, you do this on a daily basis. But thank you so much for taking the time. We'll be back after this very short break with more on Buy Now, Sell Now.